For those who are visiting today, I'm not Reverend Mary Shelton. My name is Reverend Katherine Saux. I'm a staff minister here at Golden Gate Center. This week, Reverend Mary's wife, Amanda, had to have full knee replacement, and there was a little bit of a complication afterwards, and they spent a lot of time in the ER and are just wiped. Now, everything's fine, everything's good, but Reverend Mary asked if I could pinch hit at the last minute, so we're going to go together with this, all right? We're going to flow, knowing that any goofs, any flubs are just fine, and they're in divine order, and we're going to laugh about it and keep moving, okay? And Reverend Mary does send her love. She was really sorry she couldn't be here, but I was adamant, that she stay home and all is well. So today our theme and our title is transformation. And we're talking about shining all month long. But today's topic is particularly about transformation shining through me, through you, through all. And I'm going to start, because Reverend Mary sent this to me, with a story. An Amish boy and his father were visiting a mall. They were amazed by almost everything they saw, but especially by two shiny silver doors that moved back and forth together again. The boy asked his father, "What is this, Father?" And the father, never having seen an elevator himself, responded, "Son, I've never seen anything like this in my life. I don't know what it is." So while the boy and his father were watching wide-eyed, an elderly lady, limping slightly with a cane, slowly walked up to the moving walls and pressed a button. The walls opened, and the lady walked between them and into a small room. The walls then closed, and as the boy and his father watched, small circles of light with numbers lighted up the wall, and they continued to watch as the circles of light came back down in the reverse direction. And the silver walls opened again, and out walked a beautiful 24-year-old woman. The father said, "Son, go get your mother." Transformation. Thus beginneth the lesson in transformation. I had to think about this pretty quickly, about transformation and what it means and how it comes and how do we achieve it. And I came up with what I saw as two different models of how transformation happens. The first model that I thought of was Saul of Tarsus on the road to Damascus. Now, some of you may not know this, but Saul of Tarsus was prosecuting too, why not, all the people who were following Jesus, because he was a staunch Jewish person. And he just thought that this whole Jesus thing was destroying his faith. And what happened to him was that he was riding on the way to Damascus in order to persecute some more people, and bam! This light and a voice from heaven came down, and it knocked him off his horse, threw him down, and then just spoke like something out of a Cecil B. DeMille film. Here's the actual wording in the book of Acts of the Bible. As he neared Damascus on his journey, suddenly a light from heaven flashed around him. He fell to the ground and heard a voice say to him, "Saul, Saul, why do you persecute me?" "Who are you, Lord?" Saul asked. "I am Jesus, whom you are persecuting," the voice said. "Now get up and go into the city, and you will be told what to do next." The men traveling with Saul stood there speechless. They heard some sound, but did not see anyone. Paul got up from the ground, but when he opened his eyes, he could see nothing. So the men led him by the hand into Damascus, and for 3 days he was blind, nor did he eat or drink anything. So that is enlightenment. That is the cosmic bam This is one way of achieving transformation, and it's immediate and it's powerful. So then I thought about what is a different way of achieving transformation, because not many of us have that BAM experience. And I realized then that the second example of transformation is in the parable of the prodigal son, who went through a long period of deeper and deeper falling into a hole until he hit bottom. At which point, this is when one comes to oneself and then goes back home seeking forgiveness. So I'll read a little bit of that too, because it's so beautiful. And not many days after, the younger son gathered all his wealth together that he had gotten from his father, journeyed to a far country, and there wasted his possessions with prodigal living. But when he had spent it all, there arose a severe famine in that land, and he began to be in want. Then he went and joined himself to a citizen of that country, and that citizen sent him into his fields to feed swine. And he would gladly have filled his stomach with the pods that the swine ate, but no one gave him anything. When he came to himself, he said, "How many of my father's hired servants have bread enough and to spare, and I perish with hunger? I will arise and go to my father, and I will say to him, 'Father, I have sinned against heaven and before thee, and I am no longer worthy to be called your son. Make me like one of your hired servants.' And he arose and he came to his father. But when he was still a great way off, his father saw him and had compassion. And the father ran and fell upon his neck and kissed him. And the son said to him, 'Father, I have sinned against heaven and against thee, and am no longer worthy to be called your son.' And we all know what happened next. The father gave him his best cloak, put a ring upon his finger, ordered the fattest calf to be slain, and held a feast for his homecoming." So both ways of transformation have their merits. Mystical experience or gradual wisdom. Neither of them is easy or without effort and even some pain. Although sometimes we think of the process of enlightenment or awakening, if we've read some Buddhism, for example, we think that might be immediate and without pain, but that's not so. Paul was 3 days blind and obviously in some sort of physical coma. He could neither eat nor drink for 3 days. The prodigal son learned some really hard lessons about life over time. And even think about this. Consider that the prodigal son was a Jew. The Torah prohibits Jews from having anything at all to do with swine. Yet this poor young man was living in the midst of them in their sties and envying the swine, the slops that they ate. You can't get much lower than that for a Jewish boy. So either way, through a mystical experience, immediate enlightenment, or hard-won, laborious inner work, transformation happens. And so often when we speak about transformation, everybody is on board. Over here you see beautiful images of the butterfly. And this was put together by Cheryl. Where's Cheryl? There you are. Beautiful altar. And I think most often that when we think about transformation, we use the butterfly as our metaphor. And after all, who doesn't want to be a butterfly? Beautiful, light, a seeming miracle. We use the word transformation to speak of the final product of one of those two experiences, the mystical enlightenment or the hard-won wisdom, the mystical BAM. So we go immediately to the butterfly, sort of like the Amish father who was looking at the elevator. Here it is. But it's easier to visualize what we aspire to be, like the butterfly. than to contemplate the goop that the caterpillar must turn into in order to emerge as this. The new identity, the new beingness. Because the goop, and I know Reverend Mary has talked about the transformation of butterflies here often enough that we really do understand that everything about the caterpillar undergoes a metamorphosis. So, transformation, it appeals to us, it calls to us. We look at the product of transformations, we think about enlightenment, and we want to be that. It's natural. But I'm going to tell you a secret. The word transformation is kind of a code word for something that we don't like nearly as much. Change. Change. How many people here really like change? I'd like to see a show of... Whoa! Many are called, but few are chosen. You are the few. I am embarrassed by the number of claw marks I have left on many door frames, resisting walking through into something different and new. I guess I'm more of a prodigal daughter than I am a St. Paul or Road to Damascus kind of person. You know, yes, I did get through those doorways because change is the only constant that we have, and it's let go or be dragged. And I've been dragged with the best. Whoa, there's a step off there, sorry. It helps to recognize that change is the evidence of the gift of spirit, that we always are at choice. It's a gift. Every choice creates a new possibility. Think about it this way. Change is freedom in action. Change is freedom in action. And actually, to be transparent here, I'm saying transformation isn't really just a code word. You know, it really is the end product. The butterfly is real, just as real as the shifts in consciousness that we go through in order to live into our greater yet to be. We do become different people. And I'm going to ask you for just a moment to, if you would like, close your eyes. If not, don't worry about it. But go back and think about who you were when you were in grade school. Just a little kid. And what were the things that delighted you, made you laugh? When you were in grade school, what was your priority? And now you're in high school. 16, 15, 17 years old. And who are you then? What makes your heart go pitter-patter? What makes you cry? What is it that you reach for in high school? And now in your mind's eye, I invite you to go a little bit farther into your life, whether you're in university, in the military, in some kind of training program, but you're becoming a young adult, becoming independent and making your way in the world. And all of a sudden, you have to make your own coffee, do your own clothes, do all the things that a grown-up person has to do, but you're still young, and you're just starting out. Who are you then? How did it feel? And just bring yourself a little bit farther along. A little farther along. And very quickly, like cards shuffling, just see the years of your life. And now open your eyes and think about who you are at this moment. Who you are this moment. We're not the same people we used to be. It's impossible. We have been evolving, changing, and transforming since the moment we were born, because that is the nature of life itself. Ernest Holmes, the founder of religious science, our spiritual philosophy, wrote, "We are all living in a world of continual change, a world in which thought, thing, and experience are all in a constant state of flux. It is the very nature of the universe that there should be continual change and variation. It is a living world, the creation of a living creative intelligence, not a static world created by a God now dead or departed who left it to decay. No, it is vital and alive. The mind that created it is not apart from it, but is always active in and through it. It is the nature of life, our nature, to transform. Change is the constant in the human experience." But Dr. Holmes goes on to say, but behind that which changes, behind that which causes the change, we have found that there is something stable and changeless, something eternal, upon which all of the external events depend for their very existence. Behind the endless process of change and the infinite variety of experience and expression, there is that which never changes. And we can stand on it. We can rest in it. So we know all of this. And yet, most often we resist change, except for those favored few out there who raise their hands saying they love it. But most often we do resist change. It's hard because we overestimate what we have and underestimate what we can gain. Everybody wants to be somebody, but darn few of us want to grow. But consider this, and I was thinking about this. Your current safe boundaries were once your unknown frontiers. I'm going to repeat that. Your current safe boundaries were once your unknown frontiers. Thinking back about your life as you grew, you can see how that works. And Socrates, way back then, said something pretty smart. He said, the secret of change is to focus all of your energy not on fighting the old, but on building the new. Not on fighting the old, but on building the new. How am I going to live today? How am I going to live today in order to create the tomorrow that I want for myself? How am I going to live today to create the tomorrow that I want? When we do the spiritual practice of visioning, and many of you have heard about it, done it, learned it, we have some very important questions that we ask while we're in a meditative state. One of them is, what do I need to become in order to live this vision? What do I need to release that no longer serves me? And what do I need to embrace in order to grow into that which I desire? So it's always that looking forward, that reaching out towards something that is the catalyst and the energy that transform us. It's never the looking back or the holding on. Like that. You know, we can lie on a green hillside on a beautiful summer's day and watch the clouds drift by. And that's a wonderful thing to be able to do. But it's not life. But it's not life. We don't grow when we are perfectly content in watching the clouds go by. This is a wonderful, but it's a rest. It is a time of respite where we get to just simply be. And growth, which is what life is doing all the time, requires activity, decisions, experience, choice. or else we stagnate. And we might as well be a rock on that hillside as opposed to being a sentient being with desires and dreams and goals. So experience, activity, being in the world is the way to transform oneself to be more than the world. You can't do it without the world. I sometimes think it's very much one of the reasons why I'm here, is to have those experiences in order to deepen, to grow, to expand. Now, St. Teresa of Avila said something very surprising, considering that she's a saint. She said, to reach something good, it is useful to have gone astray and thus acquire experience. That lady must have had more in her backstory than they're telling us. But her the words are the story of my life. I don't know about you. I, for one, am very happy that I stopped grabbing onto the doorways that life was trying to pull me through. I mean, I haven't done that in weeks. But this is what goes on for each of us today. In order to be that, we goop. We undo, we become more. And it's a beautiful process. It is a natural process, and it is an inevitable process. We can deny it, we can resist it, but therein lies the pain. And so today, may your goop be blessed as you become the butterfly your heart is calling you to be. And may the pain of change be only because of resistance. And may your transformation be worth every moment of it. Namaste.